Good morning. It's Tuesday, April the 1st. Here's what we're working on this morning. There's relief at the pumps as gas prices dropped overnight.
Changes start today with the City of Hamilton's Blue Box program.
And the Niagara Ice Dogs fall short in Barrie, losing Game 2. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us here on Morning Live. I'm Emily Taylor. I'll be waking up bright and early with you for a few more days. Good morning, Annette, and good morning, Brian.
Good morning. Another chilly start to the day.
Another chilly start. I hear maybe an April Fool's Day joke. It might be a little bit sunny today, though.
I have sun for you.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's not an April Fool's joke.
Good.
Yay, finally. We're going to get some sun today. It's going to be a lot cooler than it was yesterday. You know, yesterday at this time we were 12 degrees. Right now we're sitting on the freezing mark, 0. But we are going to climb to 4 for the day today, and that's about it. So it will be a much cooler day. But we do have some cloud cover right now, but the skies will clear as the morning goes on. So it's going to become sunny. Enjoy the sunshine today, because tomorrow the rain settles in, and we have a special weather statement for all of southern Ontario, talking about the amount of rain that we could get tomorrow, maybe even some freezing rain as well. And looks like tomorrow will be a touch cooler, but yeah, it's going to be wet tomorrow. So enjoy the sun today. All right, let's get right to traffic here. Let's look at what's going on. 403 Waterdown Road, you're not seeing any problems right there. Let's go to where we do have the problem. Quite a large problem, multi-vehicle collision. Unfortunately, the camera is pixelating a little bit here, but this is the QEW at Walker's Line. So you're going past Walker's Line, heading toward Appleby Line. We have a multi-vehicle collision there. Multiple lanes have been blocked. It looks like things are starting to... Don't do that when I'm looking at that camera. They always seem to. It looks like maybe the conditions are getting better. Things are starting to clear, so we'll start to see the volume of that, the backlog, start to move away. So that's good. At least it's cleared now, because that's been going on for a while. That's the only problem we've had this morning. We'll look at weather and traffic coming up in a few minutes for you. Right now, the news.
Thanks so much, Brian. All right, this is also not an April Fool's joke. Gas prices have dropped overnight now that the consumer carbon tax has been removed from gas and other fossil fuels as of April 1st. Smo Gavros joins us live from a gas station in Upper James and Mohawk in Hamilton with more.
Good morning, Emily. Well, I was quite shocked this morning to see how low gas prices have gone. As of this morning, they've dropped about 17.6 cents a liter. So you're looking at $1.33 for gas, $1.34 at this specific location. But here on Upper James, I even saw $1.55 for gas. So I'll be talking to drivers here this morning to get their reaction on these low gas prices. Consumers are now paying $0 on their carbon emissions starting today. This applies to people in 8 provinces, including Ontario, and 2 territories. The tax was previously set to $80 per ton, which equated to 17.6 cents a liter. It's increased every year since it was first introduced in 2019. It was set to rise another $15 per ton as of today, so that would have gone up to $95. But one of Mark Carney's first actions as Prime Minister was to scrap the carbon tax. There's also going to be a dip on natural gas bills for home heating, and Canadians will get their final carbon tax rebate starting on April 22nd. So coming up, I will be speaking to gas price watcher Dan McTague for more on these gas prices and what we're going to be seeing at the pumps. For now, things back over to you, Annette.
Okay, thanks very much, Simone. Well, a Toronto area Liberal MP has dropped out of the federal election campaign. Paul Chang is stepping aside as the Liberal candidate for Markham Unionville. It's over his comments 3 months ago that a Conservative opponent should be turned over to Chinese officials in return for a bounty. In a statement on X last night, Chang posted that he doesn't want any distractions for Prime Minister Mark Carney and Team Canada as they work to stand up to economic threats from U.S. President Donald Trump.
As we head into the second week of the federal election, Canada's 4 main party leaders have been busy. Federal Liberal leader Mark Carney is promising to return the federal government to the home-building speeds not seen since the end of the Second World War. Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives are proposing the creation of a national energy corridor. to fast-track approval of key infrastructure projects. And the New Democrats have been busy rolling out a national plan to help retrofit 3.3 million homes and pay for it by cutting oil and gas companies off from federal support.
The first part of our plan is to create an entirely new entity, Build Canada Homes, a lean, mission-driven organization that will do several things. First, it will act as a developer on new affordable housing projects.
With Donald Trump threatening our country with tariffs, we need big projects that link our regions east to west. We need to be able to get our resources across Canada, bypassing America, so we can trade more with each other and sell our resources to the world.
So we would cancel those subsidies and use that money to give everyday families the ability to retrofit their homes, to lower their energy costs, to save them money and reduce their emissions. That's a plan that works for people, not for the billionaires.
Green Party co-leader Jonathan Pedneau campaigned in Whitehorse. Canadians head to the polls for a general election on April 28th.
And here's where the leaders are today. Prime Minister and Liberal leader Mark Carney is in Winnipeg for the day. He is set to make an announcement this morning and then will meet with Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre will stay out east. He's going to be in Newfoundland and Prince Edward Island. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh remains in Edmonton. He's going to host a rally there tonight. And Green Party leader Elizabeth May will be in BC, and co-leader Jonathan Pedneau will travel from Whitehorse to Montreal.
The final scramble is underway ahead of tomorrow's planned unveiling of President Donald Trump's sweeping new tariffs. It involves efforts to mitigate impacts, prepare retaliatory measures, and control messaging. The U.S. Senate is set up to take up a resolution aimed at blocking the tariffs on Canadian goods. Only a small handful of Republicans say they might join Democrats in supporting it, but others are voicing concerns. Countries including South Korea, China, and Japan are preparing to retaliate against the U.S. Closer to home, an independent bookstore on Ottawa Street North in Hamilton says this is a scary time for booksellers.
To have 25% put on a hardcover book, like this is $39, like this is going to be like maybe over $50. That's out of reach for most buyers. Literacy is important. You know, books are important. The cultural, they bring a strong cultural message to people, and you know, we won't be able to maybe have as many like diverse books that we carry.
The Federal Department of Finance told CHCH that books are among the goods proposed for counter tariffs, adding that it welcomes stakeholder feedback before any measures are imposed. The department also has a remission process for exceptional cases. In the meantime, Hamilton Public Library, which spends over $1 million annually on books, is monitoring the situation but doesn't yet know the potential cost impact.
Okay, let's join Louis Butko with sports.
Hi.
This is a rare treat today.
Yeah, a lot of things had to go right for me to be here, and
Yes.
I'm here, so
Everything's aligned.
yeah, let's
We don't
talk.
have to mispronounce anything.
No, oh my goodness. I'm so sorry.
Hey,
Thank you.
Tomorrow you guys are on your own, but
Yeah, okay.
for today, I'll help you out.
What
So
a treat.
let's start on the diamond where the Blue Jays were in action. They were kicking off a 3-game series with the Nationals at home last night.
John Schneider, George Springer, and others getting a look at Soroka. Another high fly ball, and it's deep, and it is gone. Number 3 on the season already for Andrés Jiménez.
Andrés Jiménez hit his 3rd home run of the season in just his 5th game as a Blue Jay, as they defeated the team formerly known as the Montreal Expos by a score of 5-2. Francis Bowden went 6 innings, giving up just 2 hits, both of them solo home runs in the 6th, while he struck out 4 for his first win of the season. Jose Barrios gets to start tonight in Game 2, first pitch 7:07. The Niagara Ice Dogs were looking at evening up their opening round series. They were taking on the Colts in Barrie in Game 2 last night.
For the Ice Dogs, trying to get a lane to the net, forced to the outside, sends it back, shot, scores! Andre Lashko! And this game is now tied. What a third period here for the Ice Dogs.
Now Niagara rallied from a 4-goal third period deficit to tie it late, but Anthony Romani would complete the hat trick with his third of the night with just over a minute to go as the Colts would hold on for the 7-5 victory. Barrie now leads the best of 7 series 2-0. Niagara looking to get back in it when they host their first playoff game in more than 5 years tonight at the Meridian Center. Puck drop at 7 p.m. The NHL and Rogers have agreed to a new 12-year Canadian broadcasting deal worth $7.7 billion US or $11 billion Canadian. That's according to the Associated Press. A source says team owners are expected to vote on the package this week. The news comes as Rogers' current 12-year deal is set to conclude after next season. Representatives from Rogers and the NHL declined to comment when reached by the Canadian press.
Those guys only have that floater. Oh, how about that, man? My goodness. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is showing you everything, every tool he's got in that bag tonight, folks.
Hamilton's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander had 27 points and 12 assists as the OKC Thunder won their 10th game in a row. They crushed the visiting Chicago Bulls 145-117 last night. Western Conference leading Thunder, who improved to 28-1 against teams from the Eastern Conference this season and 63-12 overall this season. Madison Booker scored 18 points, and number 1 seed Texas reached the Final Four of the women's NCAA tournament for the first time since 2003 as they beat 2nd seed TCU 58-47 last night. Elsewhere, Paige Beckers carried UConn to its record 24th Final Four, scoring 31 points in a 78-64 victory over top-seeded USC. And all this month, Sport Hamilton is challenging residents to get moving with their Walk 30 for 30 challenge, encouraging everyone to start moving for 30 continuous minutes for 30 consecutive days.
So we want people to register and be committed to doing this challenge so that when they do it every day for 30 minutes, it becomes a habit, a positive routine in their lifestyle. And if they miss out a day, they're going to feel it, they're going to miss it, and they'll want to do it.
It's your second chance. A lot of people do New Year's resolutions, but trying to exercise in January and getting outside is not very motivating, right? So we're looking today. I mean, you look at the sunshine. It's a nice day to be outside. It's like spring in the spring. So, you know what? Why not get involved? Talk to your neighbor, your friend, your relative. Walk with somebody else. Get out there, you know, and hopefully it's it's a way to continue a healthy lifestyle.
Sport Hamilton will be kicking off the challenge with a walk-off tonight at TB McQuestion Park on Upper Wentworth. For more information, you can go to their website, sporthamilton.com. Let's go to Brian with a check on traffic and weather.
All right, 13 minutes after 6 o'clock, it is the 1st of the month here today. Yay! We get a chance to be here and say it today. Yay! Okay, let's get into the day. Let's start with traffic. 403 on Waterdown Road, looking pretty good actually at the moment. I want to go to this MTO traffic camera and show you that things are getting much better right now as we look at the Walker's Line area. This was just jammed a while ago. We had a multi-vehicle collision just east of Walker's Line, but the backlog is now starting to move off. Ontario Street, St. Catharines to Milton Road, Stony Creek. We'll flip to the other side of the Skyway Bridge. Looks pretty good at North Shore Boulevard. East of Royal Windsor, and then all the way through to the 427 Gardner QEW combination. Looks good so far this morning. So that collision that we had at Walker's Line is now gone. All right, let's check our temperature in Hamilton. Hamilton's temperature has just fallen a degree. We're now into the minus column. -1. Winds are fairly light. West at 12 makes it feel like -4. So it's a cool start to the morning, and we do have a cloudy sky. So for school today, those clouds are going to clear, and we're going to have sunshine. So we're looking at cloudy skies right now, but we are going to see the sun today, and the temperature will climb to 4 degrees. So that ridge of high pressure is going to move across southern Ontario. That's what's going to give us a lovely day today, if a little bit cool. We have a big problem coming in for tomorrow. Look at that low pressure system pushing a warm front and then a cold front, and we're going to get some rain, and we could get a lot of rain during the day tomorrow. Special weather statement for southern Ontario talking about possibly 30 to 50 millimeters of rain during the day, and even a bout of freezing rain in some areas. So today, temperatures 4, 6 degrees. At least we'll climb throughout the day today, whereas yesterday we fell as the day went on from 12 to about 2 in the afternoon. Tonight into the minus column, -1, -2 degrees. Simcoe, Cayuga could get some flurries. Otherwise, just a few clouds to mainly cloudy skies. And then tomorrow, here comes the rain. It could be heavy, as I mentioned. Temperatures, well, subdued for Hamilton, Brantford because of that east wind off the lake, but 4 to 6 degrees for the day tomorrow. So a fairly cloudy and wet day tomorrow. So out the door, first morning of April, the sky is fairly cloudy, the winds are light, and the temperature right now has fallen to -1. We'll check long range coming up. Annette, Emily.
Okay, thanks, Brian.
Thank you so much. All right, coming up after the break, we're going to say good morning to Emily Vukovic with a preview of what's to come in Chitchat. And in business news, the price of gold continues to rise amid Trump's global tariff threats. Those details are coming up in 2. Good morning. Welcome back to Morning Live. So not only do we have a Louis Buckho today, we also have our friend Emily Vukovic here for Chit Chat. Good morning.
Yeah, it's a fun, busy morning. I love it. Okay, Chit Chat. A Bible that was gifted to O.J. Simpson has been sold at an auction, and Kim Kardashian was not happy about it.
Okay. That'll be interesting.
I know. Like, some people care, some people don't care, but I will break it down for you if you do care. And we're going to be taking a look at the new film starring Naomi Watts and Bill Murray.
I think this was a TIFF film. I've been seeing some of the press on it now, and this is one that I was at the red carpet for, if I'm correct, for TIFF in September.
I cried watching the trailer, so that's where we're at. And later on this morning, Wile E. Coyote is finally getting a break.
Brought to you by Acme. Thank you, Brian.
It sure is. It sure is. It's actually, you know, Coyote versus Acme.
Yes.
Yeah, it
naturally.
looks cute.
It goes. Awesome. Thank you, Emily. We'll catch up on the couch. All right, let's look at our business numbers now. The Canadian dollar is down 8 basis points, now trading below 69.5 cents U.S. Gold gained another $7.50 an ounce, and crude is 20 cents lower this morning to $71.28 a barrel. In midday, European trading markets are up in London, Frankfurt, and in Paris.
In Asia today, the markets were up just a little bit across the board in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. Checking North American markets, Bay Street yesterday gained over 150 points, led by strength in energy stocks. Wall Street, mixed results. The Dow gained more than 400 points, but the Nasdaq was down slightly by 23.
Gold prices continue to soar, hitting new all-time highs. It's up to $31.57 at last check on the markets. Demand for the precious metal is rising as investors seek a safe haven amid uncertainty surrounding upcoming tariff announcements from the U.S. president. That's expected tomorrow. This marks a continuation of gold's rally since the start of Donald Trump's presidency. The uncertainty around the tariffs, along with a weaker U.S. dollar, is also fueling gold's price surge.
Federal taxes on alcohol go up 2% today. Canadian beer producers and the Canadian Taxpayer Federation are calling for a freeze, though, on the federal alcohol tax. It comes as brewers face tariffs on aluminum from U.S. President Donald Trump, which could increase the cost of cans. Now, the Taxpayer Federation argues that instead of increasing taxes, the federal government should reduce them to help Canadian businesses compete. The alcohol excise tax has been rising every year since 2017 without a parliamentary vote.
Air Canada says cross-border bookings are down industry-wide, with Canadian carriers cutting U.S. flights as demand drops. Air Canada cites a weak loonie and tensions over trade and annexation threats. Most airlines are shifting focus to domestic and transatlantic routes. Bucking that trend, though, is Porter Airlines, which is boosting flight volume south of the border by 25% this summer.
And flying out of Hamilton this summer as well.
It is.
Okay, we're taking a break right now. Brian's going to be back with your traffic and your 7-day forecast. And he promises sun.
All right, coming up on 6:24, it is the first morning of April, April Fool's Day. We're looking at our MTO traffic cameras. Here's the QEW at Nikola Tesla Boulevard. I want to flip back to St. Catharines, check Niagara Street. Nope, that looks pretty good. So we'll same here, nothing at Nikola Tesla. We had that problem at Walker's Line earlier, so it's still a little slow as you're coming past Brant Street, heading to Walker's Line. As you can see here, HOV lane is moving quite nicely there, so no problems. Sheridan, all fine through Mississauga. Here's the 403 west of Mavis. No problems there at all. Now, our temperature this morning is fluctuating a little bit, -1 to 0 at the moment. So right now, 0 Hamilton and Grimsby, -1 Mississauga, +1 for Toronto. Seasonal temperatures are now 9 degrees for the daytime high. We went from 12 to 2 yesterday, -1 for the overnight low. Those are our sun times and records for today. We will start off with some cloud cover this morning, a little bit, but then skies are going to clear throughout the day. So we should be -1 for the first bell and 4 degrees for after school. So a touch on the cool side for the day today. So there's that 4-degree temperature. -2 tonight, wind chill -7. Tomorrow will only climb to 3, and we could get across southern Ontario, heavy rain during the day tomorrow. 30 to 50 millimeters is possible, maybe even some freezing rain as well at times. But then we really spike as we get into Thursday. 16 degrees and showers. Beautiful day on Friday. At least there's one in there. Sunny skies and 12 degrees. Then we go to 7 and 5, and it looks like it's going to be fairly wet for our first weekend in April. But sunshine and cool for Monday. That's your forecast. Annette, Emily.
Thanks so much, Brian. All right, one more story before we let you go for a break. The city of Niagara Falls is asking joggers to slow down.
Asked the city to encourage joggers to slow down and jog softly during the squirrel mating season. So that'll be the first part of spring. You'll see the dates down below, and we're concerned because of the gestation period and the low birth rate of local squirrels, specifically the local gray squirrel, which is well known in some countries is endangered. So please, we ask all joggers if they would respect the jogging speeds, and instead of going from 9 to 12 kilometers an hour, to get it somewhere under 6 kilometers an hour, and hopefully the council will support it, and it'll be a local bylaw going forward. So thank you for your attention.
Oh, Mayor Tim, obviously an April Fool's joke from Niagara Falls Mayor Jim Diodati. Oh, I wonder if he's poking some fun at Burlington because everything was closed for the Jefferson Salamander for their mating season. So yeah, nice one there. So yeah, have you ever been pranked really bad on an April Fool's joke?
You know what? I haven't, and I make it very clear going into April Fool's that I don't like pranks. I am not a fan of pranks. I do not want to be pranked. I'm not here for it. Whereas my boyfriend loves them. Okay. Loves to hide little plastic rats in the cupboards and things like that.
I like that.
No, not a fan. If he's watching, no pranks.
Okay, Brian actually has a good forecast, as you heard, from one of the days coming up, and that's Snow Fools. We've got that coming up.